Vadd here. This is the complete beginner's guide to getting started in Cyberpunk 2077. You can see in the top right here that we are in version 2.13. Now, we're going to go into the settings right at the start. We're going to go over to graphics, and we're going to set this to slightly below whatever you think your machine can handle. I recommend starting at medium. And if everything runs smooth, then you can come back in here and turn it up a little higher. But try it out medium and just make sure that you're getting a good experience. Back in the main menu, we're going to select a new game. We will be picking the regular start to start from the beginning. Choose any difficulty you think is fun. You are not locked into this choice. It can be changed at any time. Next, we need to choose our life path. The life path choice really is going to determine your starting location and how you interact with the world in dialogue. Your decision here will not limit your skills, stat points, or any real major opportunities. The Nomad life path starts just outside of Night City. It has an independent, resourceful, lone wolf kind of vibe. The unique dialogue for the Nomad often has to do with conversations around tech, outlaws, smuggling. The Nomad life path has one exclusive quest that can reward a vehicle. The Street Kid life path will start in the city. You have some knowledge on gangs and the basic street smarts of city life. Street Kid unique dialogue centers around Night City's criminal underworld. The Street Kid life path has one exclusive quest that can reward a jacket. The Corporal life path will start in the city as a corporate elite. The vibe here is very ruthless and cunning. Dialogue revolves around power plays, drama, and manipulation. It is a very jaded kind of lifestyle here. The Corporal life path has one exclusive quest that can reward a handgun. This handgun is accessible to the Nomad and Street Kid start path through the Dogtown shopkeepers. All starting life paths will have access to a vehicle. Again, each life path offers unique dialogue and roleplay opportunities, but does not significantly impact gameplay mechanics. In character creation, it's important to remember that Cyberpunk 2077 is primarily a first-person game. You won't see your character very often during gameplay. Some cutscenes or mirrored reflections you will be on display, but most of the time you're experiencing the game from your character's perspective without directly seeing their full appearance. There are some romance options in Night City, and depending on which body type you select, as well as which voice tone you pick for that body type, that can influence your romance options. When you're satisfied with your character's appearance, we're going to select Next. We now have 7 skill points to spend. There are 5 attribute options for spending those 7 skill points. It's generally better to focus on 2 or 3 of the attributes rather than trying to be good at everything. Don't panic. You can re-roll your skill points later on. The body attribute is going to influence your health. This is a good place to put your skill points if you're going to be a tanky brawler and you like close range, melee combat, maybe heavy weapons. Intelligence is for netrunners hacking. This is kind of the magician wizard of Cyberpunk 2077. You want to disrupt and engage with the world through technology. Reflexes are all about speed, evasion, and critical hits. This is a good choice for gunslingers and anyone who's favoring quick reactionary combat. Technical ability is tied to crafting and engineering. This is good for players who want better gear and access to locked areas. Cool is connected with stealth builds and critical damage. There are also some bonus dialogue advantages in the cool tree. I think it's best to focus on 2 or 3 attributes at a time. Technical ability fits well with the other 4. So you could go technical ability, and then maybe you're interested in sniper rifles and they have some fun advantages in the cool tree. Or maybe you're really hoping to use a bladed weapon like some kind of katana or a handgun or a rifle, and then reflexes are a great choice. Maybe you thought it'd be really fun to whip out some of the gorilla arms and other kind of body augmentations for hand-to-hand direct combat. So whatever you pick here, you probably want to consider putting a point or 2 into technical ability and then one of the other, either body, intelligence, reflex, and cool for your other points. I'm going to put my first 3 points in the technical ability. I will put my next 3 points into body, and my remaining point I'm going to put into reflexes. Don't overthink this. You're going to have plenty of skill points as we progress further. Having spent our skill points, we are going to select next. This is going to be the summary page. This is the last page before we can change any of the things that we've done so far. When you're ready, you can push confirm and launch into your story. A small Easter egg here that I don't recommend doing on your first playthrough, but up here on the fingerprint, if you click it a number of times, select it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it's going to have a small Easter egg, which I'm not going to spoil, and I don't recommend doing on your first time, but it's kind of fun to remember that on a future playthrough. All 3 life paths are going to have a prologue mission that's going to do a lot of hand holding. That's really going to just lead you along. It's going to say, walk here, touch this button, go to this place. It's going to do a lot of hand holding for the Nomad, the Street Kid, and the Corpo. They're going to all be a little different. I'm not going to spoil them. All 3 of those prologue, introductory, here's how to walk, here's how to look around with the camera missions, are eventually going to lead you to the same mission. It's going to be the rescue. We're going to pick back up there. Going to pause this and enjoy your prologue missions, and I will see you at the rescue. All the life paths lead here to the rescue. We're going to follow Jackie inside. This is going to be the first mission where we have some real combat options ahead of us, and we're going to meet a few key characters. One of those characters is going to be T-Bug, who's actually going to drop a side mission on us before we even finish this mission. We're not going to address that right now, but it's important to recognize that we're getting phone calls. They're going to pop up in this corner. In addition, as we move forward into the rubble, I want to point out the mini-map. You can see it says in the top right there, we're in combat. The circles are enemies, the red circles, and the X's are actually dropped loot. So you can read the room just using the mini-map and really tell that, like, okay, there were 4 guys, there were 5 guys, and if they dropped loot or not, which is really nice. You've almost finished the mission, but this time it's our turn to make a phone call. So we're going to go ahead and use our phone and call Wakanda, who's going to promise us a reward and ask us to go meet her. However, again, we're not going to be able to do that just yet. It's just important to start recognizing the phone missions here. We're getting close to the end of the rescue mission. This is an important mission that all life paths are going to complete the same way. This is where everyone kind of joins up, and it's really still a tutorial zone, which more or less is going to end with us dropped off at our apartment in our very first level up, as well as some attribute points, which we're going to talk about a little later. We're going to get a couple of free level ups and skill points, but right now we want to keep moving the story forward just a little bit here. We're going to get to our apartment, and we're just going to go down to sleep, and we're going to start the next day because we want to get through a few more of these missions where they introduce some important characters and some more important mechanics, because we are really still in a tutorial zone. So waking up the next morning, we have completed the rescue, and our next mission here is to meet the ripperdoc. This is a very important character who we're going to go ahead and follow the story in order to get there. This means our next objective is going to meet Jackie downstairs. There's a couple of small things we're going to do on our way to get there, but for the moment we can just follow the main objective to get to Jackie. On the way there, we're going to get another phone call from Regina. Not a big deal. She's just going to call and say, hey, I've got work for you if you're looking for work. Love that, Regina. Thank you so much. We can continue on our way down the steps to go meet Jackie. I know it can be kind of overwhelming how many side quests and main quests and pop-ups and systems and menus are being thrown at us here. Don't worry. Just relax. We're in it together. We're going to go along the path here, and as we go, we're going to meet the coach, Coach Fred. He's going to want to talk to us. And guess what? He's also got a quest for us. It's called Beat on the Brat. We're going to leave it alone for now. Okay, getting close to Jackie. But we're going to stop in this shop here before we go down. This is a gun shop. They buy guns, and they also sell guns, which is great. He actually has a free weapon for us. We're going to go ahead and grab that free weapon. You can see it costs 0 of the monies. They call them eddies. So we go into our menus, into inventory. On the top here at weapons, we're going to go ahead and swap our gun. Why not? So here's the free gun we just picked up. Notice the background on it's a little different. That fancy kind of bordery kind of background on it is a clue. It is an iconic weapon. It doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse than what you already have, but it is iconic, which means you can't mod the weapon. but you can upgrade the weapon. It's an important distinction. The important thing to know, though, is that you can upgrade the weapon as you level up. That's the bottom line here. Now, back in the inventory into our backpack. We could disassemble some of the weapons we picked up, and it'll actually show you, before you do it, the components you're going to get from disassembling the weapon. We're not going to disassemble these right now, but it's good to know that you can get the components and see what they are before you disassemble them. So, back in the shop, he has some money, about 19,000, and we can sell these as well and make some money ourselves. So that's another option for how you might want to handle the gear you've picked up. Let's go ahead and make our way to Jackie. We're trying to get to that ripperdoc. Now, we actually have a text message there, a little pop-up, a little notification. It's actually from the coach. Remember the coach we just walked by? That's right. We talk to him, then he sends us a text, and the text has more info, and then it's going to show up on our quest log, and that's going to happen a lot. So if you miss something, don't worry about it. If you have a bunch of text notifications, don't worry about it. Just keep on moving forward. So on the way to meet Jackie on the left, there's this little box icon. This is another vendor. You can't buy things here, but you can sell things here. This little quick vendor will show up in your mini map, as well as be kind of spread around the city. So it's good to know that you don't have to go to a dedicated shop to sell things, and that there are these kind of mini little drop bin vendors. So Jackie here has a couple of good things for us. He has our car. He's got access to our car. We love to have a vehicle. Everyone's going to get this vehicle. Love that. We're going to go ahead and call on our vehicle. Important to know, all your vehicles, if you go to the back side, the rear, the tail end, you're going to be able to get into a universal storage, the stash. They're all connected. They're all shared space. If you're ever over encumbered or just want to stash something, it's universal storage. Walk out to the road, call your car, move on with your day. So we're going to hop on our car and we're going to head to the ripperdoc. We're trying to get to the ripperdoc. This is the guy who's going to help us get our cyberware installed. And no matter what your build is, he's going to be relevant. On the way here, there's Gary the Prophet, which is a fun little Easter egg. He has his own quest. You recognize him? Does he look familiar? Maybe, maybe not. It's a co-Carnage. He helped be this character, which is fun. If you interact with Gary enough, he does have a quest, but you'll have to discover that for yourself. We're going to follow Jackie into the land of the ripperdoc. So there's a couple of these in the city. This is the closest one to our house, Victor. Victor is going to offer us some cyberware. We're not really going to say no to it. It's going to put us in a little bit of debt. It's not a big deal. He's not going to come and collect from us. We can pay him off at our own speed. So he's going to offer us some implants. This is exciting. We have two options to start off. One is an eye implant, so we're going to go ahead and select that. And then the second implant is going to be a hand implant, which we're going to go ahead and install that as well. You have a little bit of spending money. You can also buy an armor implant. Not a big deal. Don't have to do this, but it's an option. After we get these installed, we're actually going to take a second and go into our menu. And we're going to look at our cyberware. Okay, there's a lot of slots we can fill, but not yet. As we level up, we're going to have a higher tolerance for cyberware capacity. So right now we're at 27 capacity and we filled 22 with just those couple installations. So we're going to have to level up a little bit, and that's part of why we're pushing through these quests, because they're just free, easy levels. So in the journal, we're going to make sure that we don't have the gift from T-Bug. No, not the gig, not the one from the coach, not the payoff Victor, which we just picked up another, go figure, not the Phantom Liberty expansion. We want to make sure that we are tracking the ride. This is going to be the one we're going to be tracking. We're going to track the ride and follow the ride for the moment. It's going to take us back to Jackie. He's going to say, hey, take a ride with Dexter. No problem. We try and get the Dexter. Regina calls again. Just how it goes. Okay? Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. She's like, hey, they're cyber psychos. I might need your help. Come help me out. And we just say nothing, and it's cool. We'll help her if we can. It's not something we need to worry about right now. We're just going to try and get in the ride with Dex. So Dex actually has a big job for us. But before we can do the big job for him, he wants us to do two smaller jobs as kind of like setup preparation missions. They're pretty straightforward. So we're going to talk to Dex, take a little ride with him, and when we're done, we're going to get a call from Jackie. Jackie's going to say, hey, what happened with the Dex? And he can say, hey, he's got a big job for us. We got to do two little jobs to set it up, some prep missions. It doesn't matter which one you pick right now. You can do this in any order you like. It's not a big deal. Pick one and hang up the phone with Jackie, and then we're going to go into our menu, into our journal. This is our quest log, right? And we're going to go to the gift, the one from T-Bug. We're going to make sure we're tracking the gift. It's right next to us. So when we went to the gun shop for guns, this is like the hacker shop for the net runners, the hackers. A little bit of a different shop, but it's just good to know where this is, that you can buy upgrades here, how to find it, and there's a free one. So it's definitely worth go ahead and picking up. So we're here at the shop, and we're going to go into the inventory of the shopkeeper, and we're going to get the free hack. That's right, a little quick hack. So it's right here on the bottom right. It's got a little exclamation point, and it's free. It's the ping hack. Perfect. Go into our inventory. From the inventory, we're going to go into our cyberware on the cyber deck, kind of our main operating system here, right? And we're going to install the quick hack there. Now that we've installed it, there's a camera in the shop we can practice on. Let's go do that. So we're going to go ahead and scan the camera. And when we scan the camera, it's going to use 4 of our 5 CyberDeck RAM slots. You can see the ping hack for 4, and our CyberDeck only has 5. So once we do that, it's going to show us devices that are connected. We'll get a little net running experience, and we're going to go to that connected device. This is a little hacking minigame. This is kind of fun. So once we start, we'll have 45 seconds to find the sequence 1C55 before we fill the buffer of 5 slots. When you select a number in the code matrix, it's going to lock you into the column that is perpendicular to what you pick. So if we pick E9, our only other 3 options will be E9, 1C, and 55. If we pick 1C, we'll be locked into BD, E9, and BD. We're trying to find the sequence of 1C55. We started, so the timer's running. We're going to click our way down until we can find a perpendicular point where we can get both of these options. Looks like just there at the bottom, if I go over, I can get a 1C, it'll lock me vertical, and I can get a 55, and it's done. You're going to do that a few times. It's going to make sense. It happens kind of fast. It feels kind of fast. It's not that fast. Now, we actually have 6 points into our technical ability, and you might have noticed that maybe we're not a hacker, but maybe because we have some engineering skills, we could have engaged with that camera in a different way. We actually could have just used our technical ability to deactivate this camera without figuring out kind of what it's hooked up to. So there's definitely different ways to engage with the environment based on your skills. We're going to open up our menu, go into stats over here on the right, and you can see here that we are level 3 with a street cred of 2. The best way to level these things up are generally completing missions, as they tend to reward us with level XP and street cred XP. Under street cred, you can see it says 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50. As we hit these different tiers, it's going to actually give us discounts at the vendors in places that we might be spending our money. In addition, the vendors and the mission givers have hidden requirements for certain items and missions for you to be at a certain street cred level. These things you won't even know exist until you hit that street cred level and you go and interact with them. These are 2 separate systems with different XPs. As you can see, we are 95% of the way to level 4, but our street cred is only 32% of the way to level 3. So there's different actions and activities that give it varying amounts of these systems. We're going to back out of the screen and go over to our character. You can see here on the left that we have 2 attribute points and 2 perk points. Every time we level up, we should be getting 1 attribute point and 1 perk point. We level up, we get an attribute point. Here are the same beginning attributes we saw at the start: body, reflexes, technical ability, cool, and intelligence. Let's click into one of these for a moment. We're going to click in the body. Okay, we're now in the tree for the body skill. Currently, on the bottom right, it says we're a rookie. We cannot access the rest of the body tree until the lock just above says pro. Let's go 1 tree over. Here we are in reflexes. You can see we're a rookie. We cannot access the pro skills. 1 tree over, rookie, can't access the pro skills. All of the main skills, body, reflex, technical ability, intelligence, and cool, it's going to lock your progression until put more points into this top level of the skill. Let's go into the body again. We can see on the left, it says body requires 6 of 9, which means if we, backing up here, in this top level, if we get our body skill to level 9, then when we are here inside the skill in the perk tree, we will then unlock the pro skills. I'm actually going to hold on to my 2 attribute points right now, which I got from leveling up twice. That way I have 3 points to spend and I can make a choice. I could go into the technical ability tree and try and get to the pro skills, Or maybe I'm interested in getting the body skill into the pro level so I can unlock some of these higher tier abilities. If we go into skill progression, this is slightly different. You can see here as a headhunter, we're a rank 2 headhunter. This is a passive system. You can see in engineering, we're a rank 1 engineer. How did we get 106 XP? Remember the camera we turned off? That gave us experience into this passive tree. I'm going to back out once. As we level up, we're going to hit level 4. Each level up, we're going to get 1 skill point and 1 of the perk points, the attribute points. I'm going to go to character. You can see I'm going to hit level 4 and then we'll have 3 attribute points and 1 perk point. Attribute points are spent on this top level system. Perk points are spent inside the specific attributes we've chosen. XP for your character's level and street cred is based on actions you take, missions you complete. But in addition to all those systems, there is a skill progression. These are passive. As you exercise the skills, you're just going to level them. We come out of the shop. You can actually see in the top left corner there, there's a little 23 minutes ticking down there. When we're at our apartment and we rest in a bed, for 60 real world minutes, you get a buff for XP gain. But to be clear, okay, that buff is not for your level. It is not for your street cred. It is only a buff towards gaining XP in these skill progression skills. This is the XP buff you're getting. It's not going to make you level faster. It's not going to boost your street cred. It's going to increase the XP you get for these passive bonuses from exercising your abilities. Open up our map. It's a little overwhelming. We're going to zoom in here on ourselves. We're here at this little shop. We're going to go over custom and we're going to go down to Night City Police Department scanner missions. Zoom out a little bit. You can see there's quite a few of these around. They're one-time events. We're going to select the one nearest to us. It's an assault in progress, and we're going to go help out. When we do this, we're going to maybe defeat some enemies, and that's going to give us experience points towards leveling up our character level. But by completing the event, we might have an opportunity to earn some street cred. We might not get street cred for defeating enemies, but also there's a possibility that the enemies that I think we actually need to go level up. There's a possibility the enemies we defeat will have a bounty. Okay, look, there's some tiger claw bikes here. Might be some tiger claws. Okay, look, there's some loot here and 64 money. All right, we're gonna make our way up to the event. We're gonna pull out our weapon and we're gonna join in the fun. Now, before we do that, we're going to scan them. Okay, you see on the right there, street cred reward of 20. This is a thug. If we take this thug out, our street cred will go up by 20 points. Let's see who else is down here. Okay, this is a level 3 bounty, street cred of 30. So we're going to go ahead and clear these guys out, see if we can get a level up and a street cred bonus. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's open our skills. So our headhunter's going up to 3. Why is that? Well, you can see the headhunter skill, we neutralize the enemy with a pistol. Okay, so we got experience in this skill. As we level up the skill just by interacting with the world, it's gonna level up. Let's go ahead and put our weapon away for the minute by long pressing the weapon swap button. We're gonna come over here as well, take all loot. And that is going to complete this Night City Police Department. See job complete then left, the side gig. And there's loads of these. There's an absolute just army of these little side gigs that are absolutely worth doing. If there's only one thing you learn from this beginner's guide, is this: go where the road takes you. Let's go ahead and open up our journal. We were given a task to go to Lizzie's, and we're actually pretty close to it. Let's go ahead and continue on the way to Lizzie's. We're going to make sure we're tracking this job. We're going to open up our map, and it looks like on the way there, there's going to be another assault in progress. Might be worth stopping at. Let's go ahead and let's call our car. We're going to use the car calling. You can see on the mini map where our car is. And actually, while I'm looking at that, I notice an X. That means there's some loot up here that we missed. I don't want to miss that loot. Maybe it's actually really valuable. Oh, here it is. You know, I'm not sure if that was very valuable, but I have the inventory space to pick it all up, so I'm going to. Let's make our way back down to our car, and then we're going to drive to Lizzie's. This is the game, and this is what you do. You're going to clear out these kind of mini objectives. As you make your way to the main objectives, go where the road takes you. before we get in, let's go to our stash. And I don't want to be carrying around all these weapons, so I'm just going to transfer them to the stash. Go in the melee weapons, I picked up a big club, knife. Now, this is important. Some objectives are actually timed, or not necessarily timed, but they're limited in when you can do them. So we can see here on the right, it says we need to be at Lizzie's bar in between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Well, how do we find out the time? Open up our menu, and you can see on the bottom left here, it says the time is 4:36. So we're actually pretty close to the time we need to be there. It's not quite the time we need to be there yet, but we're pretty close to the time. So I think it's going to be worth go ahead and drive over there. It's not going to be open just yet for what we need, but that's not a big deal. We're going to park it. Oh gosh, excuse us. We're going to park it to the best of our ability here. And we're here at Lizzie's. We're going to go ahead and complete this quest here at Lizzie's, specifically because this is a main story mission that's actually important to get done. Here's why. I'm going to open up the map. We're in the map. We're going to zoom all the way out. You can see here it says Watson, and there's this kind of red border around this edge here. I'm kind of circling the red border right now. Until we complete the job for Dexter, we are locked into only Watson. We cannot get out of Watson. And to be fair, to be clear, there is a ton of other regions for us to explore way out here that we're not going to be able to access until we finish Watson. Watson is plenty big. There is no rush, but I want us to get close to the end of Watson so you have the power to say, I want to explore Watson more, or go explore a little further. So going to Lizzie's here, if we open up our journal, we need to be here in between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. We can see here it's 4:44. We're going to skip time till 6:41. We're just going to wait 2 hours, no problem. And now we're right in the window of time we need to be so we can go to Lizzie's. Since we're here, we're going to go ahead inside and we're going to complete the quest, the information. It is a narrative heavy quest. It's very point, click, and follow. There's not anything tricky here. There's not any huge decisions to make for the most part. We're going to meet a few of the characters that will become relevant later on in the story as things progress. It's a fun quest, but the most important thing we're going to get is basically a free level up and skill point, which is good for us, and it's going to get us closer to being able to open up the rest of the map as we still are locked into Watson, which again, not a big deal, but getting some more skill points and attribute points is just really nice this early on. Once we've completed the quest, we're going to head back outside, get ourselves together, take a deep breath, and then we are going to open up our map. Here on the map, we're going to go to custom, and we're going to talk about fast traveling. There's a point right across the street from us, so let's make our way over there. I don't recommend fast traveling a lot. I think when you're driving around, there's a lot of phone calls and other just world events that are worth participating in and engaging with that you're going to miss out on. For now, though, we're going to fast travel to the Mega Building H10 Atrium. This is actually right outside our apartment, and it also is right outside this quick sell point, which is very nice. So we're going to leave this fast travel point and make the way back into our apartment. Let's talk about apartments for a minute here. There's a couple things we can do in an apartment. One of the big things we can do is actually self-buff ourselves with sleep. We talked about that a little bit. There's also the ability to get a buff from showers and coffee. There's apartments we can buy later on that'll offer us the ability to make coffee, and that has its own buff. Right now, we just have the one apartment. So you can see here after the shower, we are refreshed. If we long press our weapon swap button, we can see we are refreshed. How nice, we're regenerating health. But what if we wanted both our buffs? Well, how about we go to bed and get the other buff? We'll just sleep for a little bit, not very long. It'll be 6 a.m. when we pop up. That'll be nice. We'll check our buffs, and we should notice something here. It turns out that you need to do this in a certain order because we lost our other buff. We need to sleep and then shower, drink our coffee. So if you do it the other way around, shower, coffee, sleep, you're going to mess it up. You need to sleep and then have your shower. And if you have an apartment with coffee, you can do that. And then you can see we have both our buffs. Now, also in our apartment is the ability to transmog. No matter what you're actually wearing, it's going to present a cosmetic clothing choice. So here we have a couple options, and from now on, doesn't matter what gear we're actually wearing and what their stats are, this is the way it will be presented to the world and in cutscenes and whatnot. In addition, we go in this little room over here. we have a little bit of a locker. This is nice. There's some weapons we can put on the wall as we find them, but also in this corner on this table, we should get access to our stash. Nice. So this is the same stash. It's the universal storage just in the back of our car. So here's just a couple of good things in our apartment and the computer. Again, we're going to be able to buy vehicles here. As our street cred grows, more vehicles will be unlocked. And eventually, this is also where you will be able to buy apartments, but I don't really recommend buying more apartments. This really has kind of everything we need for quite a while. You know, if we have extra cash, we probably want to spend it on cyberware. We're going to open up our journal and we're going to make sure we're tracking the pickup, and we're going to call Meredith. You don't have to. It's an optional objective. If you want to romance Meredith, you do need to engage with her on this mission, but it's optional. Anyway, you swing it. Once we're done with our phone call, we're going to open up our map. We're going to move towards Jackie, or if you want to meet with Meredith, you're going to move towards Meredith. Your choice here. And as we move here, we're going to try and get through some of the side jobs. Any side job you like. I like the NCPD missions. They're quick, short, and easy, and I know what I'm getting into with the NCPD scanner. So I'm going to find an assault in progress. And on my way there, I'm going to stop there. As we walk down to our car, I want to highlight Coach Fred here. Coach Fred is also a shop, just like the gun shop around the corner. Coach Fred has another shop we can sell to and sell some melee weapons. Just good to remember that as you meet different characters, that coming back to them, sometimes things have changed. So we are going to scan our enemies before we fight them, and whichever one is more dangerous, I'm going to upload a hack onto that enemy. So this guy's got an EMP grenade. Okay, EMP grenade. Ooh, Sandevistan, charge jump, EMP grenade, break hold. We're going to reboot the optics so they can't see anything and just take them out of the fight early. Let's talk about health potions and grenades. They're going to regenerate after you use them. Whatever you've equipped from your inventory for those slots, you should be able to go ahead and use there. And when we get down to just below half health, so we have like 70% of our health gone, maybe 65% of our health, just a little under half, we're going to go ahead and use one of our heals, and then it's going to regenerate there on the left. So you can see on the left, we have one heal of 2, and over time, it's going to fill this bar so that we can get our second one back. It'll take some time, but just moving along towards these main objectives and clearing out whatever side objectives come along is the way. Now, don't forget to loot everything. And like I said earlier, if you take nothing else from this guide, this beginner how to get started, go where the road takes you. I thought it'd be fun to get 5 points in solo for an extra 50 carry weight, so I've got a shotgun. It's not really part of my big build plan, but I thought it'd be fun. Here's Meredith. She's kind of fun too. She's on the way, and I thought, hey, we'd have a little chat. Just go where the road takes you. There's a lot of options, and there's a lot of situations where there is no bad option. Pick a good option. Go into the shards if you met with me. We have an encrypted shard from Meredith that we can actually crack the security code. It's going to be a little trickier, but if we do crack this code, it'll give us a free quick hack, and it'll give you an opportunity to go into your inventory and actually take the money off of this shard, which will then change the quest. This quest we're coming up on here actually has 5 different outcomes in ways we could 5 different ways we could approach it, but you're going to have to decide how you want to approach it. I'm not going to tell you. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. There's whatever way you choose, and the consequences, positive and negative, that follow. Once we finish this pickup mission, we're going to call Dexter Deshawn, and we're going to get invited to the heist mission. I do not recommend starting the heist mission right away. It's your choice. When you're ready to leave Watson, you feel like you've kind of, need to stretch your legs a little more, go ahead and start the heist mission, and the world will change for better and for worse. If you like this video, click like. YouTube channel members to support what I do. I'm Vadd, and I will see you in the next one.